Hello, viewers, and thank you for joining us. My name is Luna Bloomer, and I am the founder of Vegan Bloomers. So, our star guest today is Peter. So, welcome, Peter. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Very glad to be part of the community or your show.
Awesome, thank you. So, I see that you're on a boat. That's amazing. Do you live on this boat?
Yes, I kind of got tired of waiting for the perfect vegan community, so I started my own instead. And I had a dream of getting a boat, and here I am. I'm living on a sailboat, and it has four cabins. So yeah, I invite people to join because it's a big boat and I can't handle it myself. So I need help, and also it's a great way to meet new vegans. So
that is amazing.
That's what I do.
So tell everybody where you're based, how old you are, and just tell us a little bit about yourselves.
All right. Well, I'm Swedish. I've been living in Spain for 11 years, but now I'm kind of living on this boat. And I've been vegan for 8 years. I've been teaching about veganism quite a bit, and well, I'm trying to promote the ethical choice as much as I can. I came from the environmental angle, but now it's very much about the animal rights also.
Amazing. And how old are you?
I'm 51.
Awesome. So you started your journey 8 years ago. Tell us about your journey. What led you there?
Well, it was Gary Yourofsky. I'm sure you know of him. I saw his video once, and then I went vegetarian. Then I saw it again, and I realized, how he talks about vegetarians, that it's a bullshit move, really. That it's not enough, not nowhere near enough. It's just saying that's halfway there, and so saying that a bit of suffering is okay. So I saw him again, and then I went full on vegan 8 years ago. And I wish I'd done so much earlier, of course, as most people.
So how long were you vegetarian before you turned vegan?
It was about 3 years, I think, something like that.
Okay. And when you did the switch, was there anything that you struggled to give up?
No, not really. Not really. I used to be a big milk drinker. And I used to drink 2 liters of cow's milk every day.
Wow.
Or at a meal even. I could drink 2 liters because I think that's what it's made to do. I mean, a calf is supposed to drink really fast, right? Because it's supposed to grow. So I think there's something in that, the casein maybe, or something that just, because I don't drink anything as fast and as much as I drank cow's milk. It was just a strange thing. So but I wasn't really, I guess I was in a way addicted to it, but there was no, withdrawal period. There was no cold turkey or anything like that. So I just, once I realized how horrible of a product it is, I gave it up, and that's the end of it.
Oh, that's so
I don't
interesting.
miss it at all.
So is there anything, as vegan now, is there any foods that you wish that they have veganized?
Well, of course. I mean, I did it when I first went vegan. I invited my children. I have 3 children. I invited them to do a taste test. So we bought 13 types of vegan, alternative meats, and we tested everything on. We put up a special spreadsheet with taste and texture and how it looked and all that, and overall, comments and all that. And we tasted 13 different kinds, and we also added mushrooms just for fun, because we like mushrooms. And it turns out the mushrooms was the best. It was the best alternative. I mean, this was 8 years ago, so there are better alternatives coming out now. But I still think that discover what's already there. I mean, we have 70,000 edible plants, and before I went vegan, I certainly hadn't tried all of them. and I've certainly hadn't tried all the combinations and the ways to cook them. So I think that that's the way we should go. Explore the 70,000. Explore what's ever in your grocery section, and what can I do with these things? And there's such an abundance in most places in the world. There are so many vegetables and fruits and berries and all the things that you can eat. So I don't really long for those. Of course, I mean, I wish that it would be simpler to switch, but for newbies, for people that don't want to explore. But I think that's where we should market vegan. Wow, look at the grocery section. Look at all those things that we can do there. So yeah, no, I don't really miss anything.
So what's your best tip for cooking like a meat sub out of vegetables?
Well, the easiest thing to cook is, in my opinion, if you want something cooked, if you want something that feels cooked, then I would say just do oven-baked vegetables. Go to the grocery section, take whatever's there, cut a little bit of each, put it on a tray, put whatever spices you like on it. You don't need any oil because most vegetables have plenty of water in them already. Just into the oven and let it bake until it looks nice, right? Then eat it with whatever sauces you have, ketchup, hummus, whatever. Go crazy with the sauces, and that's a full meal. And it takes about 10 minutes to do, 20 minutes in the oven, and it can be so varied, and it's so simple, and everybody loves it.
That's really interesting because I wasn't aware that actually you could just cook it without oil. So I'm going to try that. I've recently discovered,
Yeah, of course it's a bit of a risk that it sticks because there's little moisture there. But just put like a baking paper underneath, and you're fine with that also. You don't have to clean so much afterwards. But yeah, depending on what sauces you have in house, you can make it taste anything.
Well, that's awesome.
And explore with the spices, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I only recently discovered that I really like vegetables just cooked in the oven, and all these time I kind of like would just boil it in water, thinking that was the only way to cook it. And there's a lot of vegetables I'm not that keen on, but I used to come in the oven and they're just like divine, and they're not mushy as well. So yeah, you're getting the texture that's going to fill you up, I find, as well.
I'm not really, health vegan. I don't know all the health benefits, but I think there's something with the fibers, and the fibers is something that most people lack. We as vegans, we hear a lot about the proteins, of course, but protein is not really an issue. What is an issue is fibers, and I think that when you're just cutting them and doing the oven, you get more of the fibers and more of the texture, as you say, because you don't boil it. I think boiling it, boils, changes the texture definitely.
Yeah, and it probably gets rid of, yeah,
but don't quote me on that one. but as I said, texture is very important. We're talking a lot about taste, but texture is the difficult one. So that's what we should be focusing on.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's probably why they end up like making meat alternatives to try and get the texture, because I have noticed that vegan bacon, for example, I always found that the taste was there, but they never got the texture right. And now the most popular one, they've got the texture right, but not quite the taste, but everybody loves it. So I think you raise a good point there about the texture, because that is something I think that people miss, like especially if they're transitioning. So yeah, that's a good point. So tell us, how has veganism impacted your life?
A lot, really. I mean, I've taken the Liberation Pledge. Do you know what it is?
No.
Does everybody in the audience know what it is? Well, it's something. Go to liberationpledge.com and you'll find all the information there, expressed better than I can ad hoc now. But I'll try. Basically, it's the pledge, so a promise to yourself and the world that I am not going to sit at a table where there are animal products being consumed. That's the message. And that is a rather concrete, very easy to understand message, but it's also quite confrontational. And it makes it very difficult for social gatherings and family gatherings and stuff like that. And that I'm not sitting here, but it's also a very strong message, because the whole idea of breaking bread together, it's ancient. That's what you do to be social with people. So you eat with them. And I say, well, I'm not breaking bread with you if what you're breaking is actually an animal. Bread, I'll be happy to break with you, but if there's a cadaver or body fluids on the table, I'm not going to be there. So that's I mean, I came to that conclusion and that step in my life about 4 years ago, and that has of course changed my social behavior a lot. And I tell everybody from the start that if you want to spend time with me, then it's vegan. And I've lost some friends on that, and I've kept my family. I mean, they have been very good. My parents, they went vegan, and my grandmother went vegan when she was 99. So it's never too late. And so yeah, it's influenced my social life a lot. And also, of course, it's a very I mean, the most difficult thing, I've been very privileged since I work from home. I did work from home even before COVID. And so the whole, workmates and all that, I didn't have that problem. I gradually moved away from business meetings and stuff like that also. So yeah, I could follow that rule reasonably easy.
Tell us about when you turned vegan, and especially
Yes.
when you joined this pledge. Tell us a bit more about how people responded to that. How was that?
I remember the first time I came out, so to speak, as a vegan, and it was at a party which my grandmother hosted, where we have this tradition in Sweden that the first of Advent, of course, it's an international thing, but anyhow, we had fika, which is coffee and cookies, and she had baked like 10 types of cookies, and we eat these every year. So that's when I decided before that I'm not going to have any of these cookies that she had at 95 or something at that point. Wow. She had baked 10 types of cookies, and I came and said, no, I'm not having it. So that was, of course, very confrontational also. And that is, of course, I mean, people talk about, the meat products and what you miss and so on, but I think that is the most difficult thing in being vegan in general, the social bits, and daring to, or coming out, or what do you want to call it? I mean, taking that confrontation and saying that you're doing something wrong, and I'm not going to do it anymore. Well, I mean, even if you're not saying the first thing, even if you're not saying you're doing something wrong, that's implicit in what you're saying. I'm not doing this because it's wrong. Do you mean I'm doing something wrong? I mean, you're saying that message. So that I very clearly remember that first party at my grandmother's there, and all the things that people that I care about deeply, all the stupid things they were saying, that if we don't milk the cows, that their tits are going to explode, which of course, I mean, they don't on any mammals ever. And at that point I was rather new also, so I didn't know all the answers. After 8 years of hearing these excuses, you're like, yeah, you can just kind of shake it off. But at that point I was just astounded of the ignorance that is part of the indoctrination, because it really is an indoctrination. That I'm sure you're aware of the term carnism that Melanie Joy has coined, and it is like a religion, very much like a religion, that you believe that the animals are there for us and all that, and that the status quo is the only normal, necessary, and natural thing.
None of those things.
Exactly, it doesn't apply, but the whole belief system of carnism is there. So that kind of dawned on me and I think that dawns on every vegan when they talk to carnists, that wow, this is really ingrained. If I'm going to say, I'm going to, when you go vegetarian, they're like, okay, but when you go vegan, it's wow, you're crazy. What about the nutrients? What about blah blah blah? And all those things, and milk doesn't kill the cow. So you have to like explain all of these very, very obvious things.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, was the most
So
upshaking thing. I mean, I used to go ahead.
when you were you mentioned that you lost a few friends after your pledge.
Yeah.
How did you cope with that? That must have been difficult.
Well, I've always been rather confrontational as a person. So yeah, I got new ones. That was the short answer there, really. I mean, people grow in different directions, and I think that's a price you pay for growing. And I'm very glad, of course, that I didn't lose any of my family, and the family has really switched over in many different ways. Not all of them are vegan. My extended family, but my closest family are, and they're all vegan when they spend time with me, which is of course a step.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I mean, it's sad, but I also, yeah. Go ahead.
So are your children all vegan now too?
They're regretfully not, but when they are with me, they are. Yeah, and that's a thing that it hurts, definitely, no doubt about it. But when they're with me, then they are vegan, and yeah, that's. I mean, I think the most nobody. I mean, they're younger than me, obviously, and so I think being different is the being troublesome, being annoying, which we are. Of course we're different, so of course we're annoying. We should be proud of it. Yeah, we're not going to take it anymore, right? So yeah,
that's awesome. So I remember you mentioned your chart. Do you still have this chart? I'd love to see it.
The what? The chart? No, I don't
think
I do.
Oh, that's such a shame. That's such a good idea though. I love that.
Well, I mean, invite some friends and do it. It's not complicated. It's just a couple of tables, a couple of columns, and so yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, people do wine testing and chocolate testing. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done I did a veganuary workshop a couple of years ago, and we had just a table of like cheeses and chocolates and stuff for everybody to try. So yeah,
very good.
Yeah, and it's fun. So but I'm going to try that meat thing because that sounds really cool, actually. Like, yeah, I like it. So as a vegan, then what is your favorite thing to eat at the moment?
Well, I'm actually sitting here right now. I haven't had my breakfast yet, but this is a fruit salad, and that's also one of those. Yeah, there's a lot of nuts on it and seeds on top of it, but there's just fruit on here. So that's what I eat. That's my favorite thing, actually. I did a year when I only lived on fruit salad, so I went fruitarian for a year.
Wow.
And I didn't get tired of it because, of course, I mean, veganism is not a diet.
No.
And you can certainly, be whatever weight. I've been accused of you're not a vegan. You're too big to be a vegan. You can't possibly be a vegan. People have said that to me when I'm doing street activism, and it's not a diet. And I'm not out here lying. So but anyhow, but at one point I tried to make it a diet also. So I spent a year eating just fruit salad, basically. I had some bread also. And I lost 17 kilos, but then when I stopped it, I gained it all back again. So it didn't work. But
that's how all diets work.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't get tired of fruit salad though. So I could still do fruit salad. I mean, if you're eating the same thing every day, then you think you're gonna get tired of it. But fruit salad is such a varied thing, and it can be so many different things.
Yeah.
And depending on where you live and what season it is, in Spain, for example, where I used to live, it was really, really cheap food. In Sweden, it's 3 times as expensive, and it doesn't taste as much, but that's another thing.
Well, that's good to know. Bear that in mind.
Go to Spain and have a fruit salad. Yes.
Yeah, I must admit I like a fruit salad, so I might have to make myself one.
Very good.
So have you obviously what you're doing right now is a form of activism, I would say, with your pledge. But is there anything else that you've been involved with in regards to activism?
Yeah, I've done mostly. I respect those that do, break into farms and release animals and so on, but I've never done anything like that. But I have a lot of friends who have done it, and I've supported them in many
Amazing.
ways. So I think we need all kinds of activism. I think this is kind of a luxury activism that I like doing. But I've been in the Save movement, so I've been outside slaughterhouses a number of times. I have been in Anonymous for the Voiceless, and done cubes many times. I've done before that they had Earthlings Experience, which is a precursor to Anonymous for the Voiceless. I've done marches. I've also been part of many bullfighting protests. That's something. If you have the chance to go to Spain and be part of a bullfighting protest, it is amazing, because at most protests we're just standing there silent, but at a bullfighting protest you're really screaming and shouting, and have drums, and it's a fiesta. So you scream vergüenza, vergüenza, vergüenza at the bullfighters. So it's very confrontational, which I personally like. Vergüenza means shame, shame, shame.
Okay.
And of course, they're very, very proud of their tradition. So you're standing there outside the bullfighting arena screaming vergüenza, vergüenza. It's just a power. When a couple of hundred people do that, it's just a powerful feeling.
That's really awesome. What are the police like there? Do they get involved?
Could you say that again?
What are the police like there? Do they get involved?
They stand in the middle. And try to keep the parts because there are some fractions that do it for the fighting, actually on both sides, but most of them are vegans and pacifists, or in some way pacifistic at least. But there are some of them that actually do it as kind of football hooligans or something. So they go there for the fighting. I try to stay away from those, of course. I'm not a hooligan, even though I might look like one today with all the beard and everything. But yeah, the police try to stay away. One interesting thing though is that the church gets involved.
Oh, okay.
I'm not on our side.
No,
on the other side.
That doesn't.
On the other
surprise
side, the Vatican Church gets. I mean, they bless the bullfighters before the fight. And there was a bishop literally standing there, lecturing the protesters of that you should respect this tradition, blah, blah, blah.
What about the animals?
Exactly. Well, they don't have souls, that's the whole foundation of religion. Let's not start that discussion. But the animals don't have souls. So they don't really matter. If you take that belief as a basis for your worldview, that a soul is what matters, then of course animals don't matter.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So that's one of my problems with the Christian church, but that's another topic.
That's fair. Have you seen A Prayer for Compassion?
I don't think I have. Is that a movie or a documentary?
It's a documentary, and it's all based on religion. And
right.
I think it'll be worth a watch for you, because actually they go into Christianity, and actually there's apparently secret verses which basically say that we should be vegan according to the Bible. So
yes,
give that a check out.
There are a lot of religious people that are vegan too. And in Sweden we have Vildåsnan, which is an organization that it's called the Wild Donkey. I don't know why really, but that's a vegan Christian society that's trying to influence the Swedish church to go vegan. And I'm sure in every religion there are lots of Muslims also. One of my we were speaking about the activism. One of the things that I like to do the most is give lectures. And when we were doing street activism in Fuengirola in Spain, we often found Muslims coming there to talk to us. So we actually called the imam of the mosque in Fuengirola and asked, can we come and give a speech, a lecture on the environment and animal eating? and we had all kinds of prejudices against but they accepted us, and we came there, and it was amazing, and also, yeah, in so many ways they were very open, and they were listening. And of course, I mean, if you look at the world map where climate change is happening, it corresponds very, very closely to the Muslim world. They're really seeing those problems. So there's a lot in all churches that are seeing this pattern, and but of course it needs to be a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. So, random question.
Yep.
You mentioned that you work from home. What do you do for
Yes.
work, out of curiosity?
I'm an IT consultant, so I have a business where I build software, and I've written some books, and I have a YouTube channel also. Subscribe and like. No.
Awesome.
It's not relevant for veganism. No, you don't have to promote that.
No, I'm totally for promoting everybody. So tell us what your business is called.
That's IT stuff. They can search my name and they'll find me. Lots of stuff. I'm a SharePoint expert, so if people know what that is, then they will probably have seen my videos.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
That's what I do.
So we're coming to nearly an end now, so I have one more question, which is, if you were to give one piece of advice to somebody that's looking into veganism or would like to go into veganism, what would you say to them?
Well, do it for the animals. And I mean, if you look at veganism as an environmental choice, there's no way to be 100%. You're always cheating with the environment. You know that it's wrong to drive, but we still do it, or we ride a car. And same thing with the diet. If everybody is cheating on their diet, that's what we do, because we're surrounded by marketing for what we should eat and so stuff. But you don't cheat on killing anybody. You don't cheat on putting anybody in jail, and you don't cheat on raping anybody. So if that's how you look at it, if you start looking at the animals as victim, which we all know that they are, take that approach. Nobody's going to cheat on the choice of not killing animals. So if you start with that mindset, then it becomes very, very easy to be vegan. And of course, explore the grocery section. That's another one.
Yes, of course. I think your all of your things that you've been talking about, vegetables and fruits, have been very compelling. So
glad to hear that. Yes.
I'm sure that will inspire some people to go look and explore vegetables and fruit a little bit more.
I hope so. Definitely.
So before we go, if there is anybody that would like to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you?
Facebook. People keep telling me I should go on Instagram, but my daughter says I'm too old for it, so I'm not there yet. So, Facebook is the way to reach me in general. And
your little community on your boat, have you got a separate? Have you got an email address or anything that people can kind of look, or a website that people can look into?
It's invitation only, because I only have two rooms. So ask me for a friend, send me a friend request, talk to me, and if it works, we seem to be on the same level, then I'll invite you to join the boat. Definitely. Awesome.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for letting me interview you. It's been really interesting, and I've enjoyed our talk very much. So, and thank you guys for watching. I hope this has been as inspirational as it has been for me. And please do check out all the links that are in the description, that will be in the description, and check out Peter and, have a chat, because it sounds like he's got a lot of awesome things to say. And if you are a vegan yourself and you're watching, please do get in touch if you'd like to be our next star vegan. You can contact me on Facebook, Luna Bloomer, or you can email me veganbloomers@gmail.com. Thank you again, everybody, and Peter, and take care. Bye bye.
Thank you for having me.
Much love, everyone. Bye.